people think about the 80s and the 90s and the 70 and 80-point ball games and whatnot, but they don't realize that back in the 70s, you know, they were running and gunning and scoring 150 points a game like they are now.
Everybody back then, no matter race, creed, color, you wanted to beat Pistol Pete. That's how good he was.
And I think the whole grit and grind, whatever you want to say about the Heat, got snatched out of their chest when Bruce Brown hit that pull-up 3 late in the game. That's when it all ended.
We spent a whole lot of money. Man, we up here, man. We snacks. We doing whatever we can because we hungry.
So he came in, he brought in some good defensive plays. Just when Miami was coming, they was getting ready to serve, but they just every time they got the tray up and they coming, somebody knocked the tray over.
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm on a flight and I'm sitting in first class, man, and I'm just sitting here eating some peanuts. Yeah. Miami must be an amazing city to live in, because if they've got that much going on to where they running out the door of the NBA Finals game, then my God, we need to pack up and we need to move to Miami right now.
This is former Chicago Bear Desmond Clark. And y'all hear me on many podcasts, but when y'all hear me on Pick'em Pros, y'all know it's all about family. This ain't just business.
Coming back tonight. We're coming back tonight. We're going to tie it up 2-2, go back to Golden State, then 3-2, and then we're going to control the series.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You know who it is. I am Lou Thompson.
And I'm Diego Thompson.
And who are we?
We're the Pick'em Pros.
We are the Pick'em Pros coming back at you in the house Saturday, June 10th, time of recording, 2023. We just came off of a great NBA Finals Game 4 between the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. The Butler, as my dad, your grandpa, has been saying, did not serve yet again for about the 10th straight game. So we're going to have him on, and we're going to get on him. So we're going to have a good time with that. But how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You know, just my predictions as always, just being right. You know, I predicted the gentleman's sweep, and it's looking like it's about to happen. So that's just what I do. So, yeah.
You did predict. To your credit, I predicted a sweep. And you predicted a gentleman's sweep, and it looks like that is coming true. And you never wavered, even after that Game 2 loss. You know, we went live right after that, and you stuck with gentleman's sweep. We both felt that they would go into the 305 and win both games. So now it's kind of funny that the Heat are saying, okay, well, let's bring it back to the 305 because they've lost 4 in a row in the 305.
You might as well just lose in Denver. It'll be even worse. Go back to Miami.
Just there and start on vacation.
At least you have to stay there for your vacation.
Oh man. Well, yeah, but that was a fun game, especially for us since we picked Denver in the finals. So we definitely want to be right more than anything. But man, great game, big game by a lot of the role players. Yeah, man, it was a good night. It was a good night for us. So, been looking forward to getting up and doing this show here today. But yeah, shout out to you for getting that right. Yeah, father and son dynamic duo. If you're checking us out for the first time, Pick'em Pros. We talk about all the big games in the NBA, talk about NFL, fantasy sports, all that good stuff. Right now it's the NBA Finals, so of course we're in the midst of this. But man, football's around the corner. Don't miss us in a couple weeks as we will start to unveil our fantasy football player rankings, top 10 quarterbacks, top running backs, top receivers, all that good stuff. Almost time to shift gears. We'll have Des, former Chicago Bear tight end, will be joining us very often throughout the season, and we'll have a lot of great shows coming up there. But all right, man. Well, hey, man, I can't wait to bring my dad, your grandfather on here, Mr. Lou Thompson, so we can get into him, man. You ready? You ready to get into him and find out what's going on with the Butler?
I'm ready. Let's bring him in.
All right, man. Let's bring him in because I'm starving. I don't know about you, but I'm hungry.
I'm hungry, man. Still waiting for my food.
We spent a whole lot of money. Man, we up here, man. We eating snacks. We doing whatever we can because we hungry. We starving. We've been waiting for a full course meal and we are not being served. What's going on, Papa? What's going on?
Well, I don't know. I think the Butler had a very long series with Boston, after being up 3-1 and, not get a chance to get a little rest there. And now, playing the Nuggets. The Nuggets are playing pretty good. So I think he's kind of wearing down a little bit. I was really looking for him to serve last night. But he didn't do too bad. I mean, he did score 25 points or so last night. Yeah, at 25, right on the head. So I thought that was pretty good. And, he was going to the hole. I was disappointed he missed those 2 free throws because that would have got us a little bit closer to halftime. And Laurie had a nice little layup. And the pass got stolen. So we were just trying to come up with that momentum to take us to the third quarter. And that, I kind of think that was one of the key elements to be able to do. But I know he has some good food for you in the freezer that he was going to bring out and cook. He was going to have a fabulous meal. He even had doggy bags for the Nuggets to have some nice meals on the flight back to Denver, but it didn't get a chance. It did get
Man, man. I feel like I'm on a flight and I'm sitting in first class, man, and I'm just sitting here eating some peanuts.
Well, that's what they're gonna serve you, but he said he's gonna take care of you, man. So they're gonna send you some Meals on Wheels. Okay. Answer the doorbell when the doorbell rings. They coming. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
No doubt. All right. Yeah. Because I'm grabbing. I've been grabbing everything I can get because we had the silverware. There's piles we bought out the good china and everything because we've never had Butler service before. So we've been preparing.
It's been a long time, man.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hang on in there. Meals on Wheels are coming. We do deliver. Okay. Hang on in there. All right. Don't worry about it.
But hey, Diego, man, give us your breakdown on what happened in Game 4.
Yeah, well, I like Denver's defense. Like you mentioned, KCP, his defense on Butler and Adebayo. He had back-to-back possessions where Butler and Adebayo were driving at him, and he stopped them on back-to-back possessions and hit some huge threes. And I think the whole grit and grind, whatever you want to say about the Heat, got snatched out of their chest when Bruce Brown hit that pull-up 3 late in the game. That's when it all ended. So that's when they realized it was over, and that they're just trying to hold everybody over and say that they're going to win every game because they have to. But I don't think they believe deep in their heart that it's going to happen. So yeah.
I don't think that. I think they truly believed before in the other series, and they probably believed coming into this series. But I don't think after last night they think they're going to come back.
Yep.
And do anything, and that's not even their focus is just to, like they said, get it back to Miami. They want to get it back to the 305, force it to a Game 6 and see what happens. And that's the best approach to take. You can't win 3 games in 1. But the only problem with that is they've lost 4 straight at home now. So going back to the 305, going back to Miami is not that big a deal. They don't have a good home court. The fans arrive late. They leave as soon as the game looks like it's in doubt. They not only do they leave, it's like they run it.
They kept going lines.
Like they be flying out of the state. God, how they even get to the exits that quick? It's pretty spectacular. So they must have Miami must be an amazing city to live in Because if they've got that much going on to where they running out the door of the NBA Finals game, then my God, we need to pack up and we need to move to Miami right now.
There's no taxes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's no taxes. So, Texas,
That might be it.
Texas.
I'm gonna go back to the beach.
Hey, it might be on to something. You touched on, okay, it's coming.
Okay.
Meals on Wheels, hang in there. Okay, they still coming. So I know that the Heat, right on cue, that's what they've been saying. They basically guaranteed that they were going to win every game throughout the entire playoffs.
Yep.
So when they were down, when they were up 3-0, and then Boston started coming back, for game 5, we gonna win. Game 6, we gonna win. Just it seems like every time they lose, they have these big proclamations. They're gonna win. Heat culture, grit, grind. We do it the hard way. That's the only way. So you saying they are gonna come through this time on their guarantee.
Okay. Well, that's a good question you brought out to me on there. I feel in that way that they were going to be able to do it. We might be able to squeeze one more game out, but it's going to be a little bit, a little bit difficult right now. I have to give my, my happiness, and to Denver Nuggets because they are playing real good. Got some other players that did step up in the game last night. I don't know if you're ready to go to that point that I think can. And so I think that was some of the key difference. I know when you look at Denver, you're looking at, you got the Joker and you got Murray. But there are a few other players that played good last night. I wasn't looking for Gordon to come up with 25. About 25 or 27 points last night. And he brought excitement. Denver, I've been a Denver fan. I used to go and, I worked on a project with Denver. I used to go there for a while. So I spent some time in the Mile High city, good fans, all that. I like the Broncos. So the city is cool with me. Okay. I like the underdog. So there's always been an underdog. So I like to kind of go with them, but I like both teams. Okay. Yeah. So I think that I think Denver came out good. I thought they was Miami came out good. They played good, but Denver is not like a boring team that they used to be. They got Gordon, they didn't do no alley hoops. They shoot. Right. They're not an alley hoop type team, but he brought that excitement with him. And then that excitement brought a couple of other players that came in. You got Caldwell Pope. He scored about 7 points. Yeah. But he played good defense. He got a rebound when he needed to. He knocked balls away. So he came in, he brought in some good defensive plays. Just when Miami was coming, they was getting ready to serve, but they just every time they got the tray up and they come and somebody knocked the tray over, man. They had to get back. Couldn't bring the food. Kept falling on the floor.
Got knocked out. All right. Well, let's dive a little deeper into the Nuggets here. The Joker Murray duo. So I want to talk about the Joker Murray duo. And I also want to talk about just the Nugget role players. So those are two topics I want to talk about before we then get into David Thompson and kind of touch on some of your history, Dad, with the ABA and the old Nuggets. But Joker and Murray, they are a great duo right now. The great duos are typically big man, little man. So you've got that kind of like not saying they're Kobe and Shaq, not comparing them to a Kobe and Shaq, but just having a guard and a big. That's, always a nice combo. We just love to get Diego. We'll start with you, then we'll go to Dad. Your take on this duo. I know we had a poll recently where we said, okay, today, right now, who's the better duo, Joker Murray or AD and LeBron? And we said Joker Murray. and a lot of people kind of lost their mind. Like, we're not saying historically, we're talking about today. And I think last series proved that. But what's your take on this dynamic duo, Diego?
Yeah, I think they're just proving to people how good they actually are. Because I think coming into the playoffs, people didn't view them like they do now, or especially like in that. No one would compare them to Kobe or Shaq and say that. But and I think if they do win this championship, then they historically pass the AD LeBron duo. You think so? I think so, because
that's debatable. I mean, you could make that argument because they both have one title, one in the bubble, one not in the bubble. So you could certainly argue that for sure.
Yeah, and what Murray's done, and with Joker, oh my goodness, he's just been dominating. So I think that they would surpass them historically, just that duo against that duo.
Okay.
And I think they're just proving how they just continue to prove people wrong. So
all right, Dad, what do you think of the Joker Murray duo?
Well, I agree with Diego, man. I look at winning in the bubble was a whole different situation. Okay. I look like that when the San Antonio Spurs won the championship when they only played 63 ball games versus 82. It's got a star on it, okay, even though they're NBA champions. But I look at this dynamic duo. You have to put them above it. LeBron and AD wouldn't have been there if we would have had a regular series because they were both hurt. Okay. The bubble paid them. They had 3 months recovery to get ready to get well before they even went down there to Miami. I mean, not Miami, but they played in Orlando. So, you look at the dynamics and the environment and the situation with all that, man, we got to go with these two guys right now.
Yeah. All right. And then what about the rest of the Denver role players? So with Porter and then Gordon, they're both solid role players, but they can be up and down. They can both be up and down, especially Porter can be up and down. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that right now. But I feel what really puts them over the hump is the fact that not only do you have Gordon and Porter Jr., but now you've got KCP. Now you've got Brown. And now
both Browns.
You've got both Browns. You got the other Brown, the rookie out of Kansas. So wow, now I feel they really have a deep bench. What's your take on the role players of Denver, Diego?
Yeah, I think they've been coming up big, and it's not just they've been coming up big. It's because if a couple role players are having an off night, as you said, they're so deep that that other role players can get hot and carry them. Like Michael Porter Jr. has been off this whole series, and other people have carried. Like Aaron Gordon last night had 27, 6 and 6, I believe. So he was going crazy. A high field goal percentage. Bruce Brown had 21 points on 8 of 11 shooting in the field, and of course a bunch of threes in there. And KCP, of course, had 7, couple threes, some big defense. And of course, Christian Brown had the 15 points in Game 3. It was 7 of 8 from the field, and then even Jeff Green got a little shine. He hit a big 3 late in the game of Game 4. So and then they got Reggie Jackson, who's just sitting there on the
bench.
They don't even need him.
That's how deep they are. Man, and Reggie Jackson is a bad, but I can't believe he's just sitting on the bench, not playing at all. They got him to pull out too. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. What do you think about the bench of Denver?
I think the benches are doing phenomenal, and then you got Jeff Green too. Okay, in that rotation. And when I look at the game last night, there was one other, that Bruce Brown, man. I mean, he was just phenomenal. He scored 21 points. That's a lot of points. That was really the key difference. And all these other new players that you just mentioned, they're good. But when you got the players that played last night, playing as good as they playing, the other one's gonna be sitting on the pine. They're not gonna get on the court because the other ones above them are playing. So they're very deep,
Right.
you know, they'll be around next year as well. I think they already made a trade for another draft pick to improve just in case Miami come back. But we know that's about dead. But you know, this stuff up for success for both this year and next year. So they're serious. They're serious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they will be. The talk, we won't touch on it today, but the talk, of course, when any team wins the title is then, okay, do we have a dynasty coming? So of course that'll be the talk. But they definitely have a good core, and they have a lot to build on, and they could certainly squeeze another title or so out of what they've got. So they have a great group and are very, very deep, and a solid coach too. He seems to know what buttons to push and really knows how to motivate this crew.
Well,
so before we talk about Game 5, make our official picks for that, let's talk about a little bit of the history with the Denver Nuggets and ABA. So, Dad, really happy to have you on here for this as well. So, David Thompson. So you see between the three of us, see the Thompson name here. Not sure if there's any relation there with David Thompson, but he believe is going to be part of the ceremony of the game on Monday. So that's great to see. I know he's an NC State legend, one of the highest verticals ever. What's your thoughts on David Thompson being honored on Monday? And is there any way you can enlighten us a little bit about David Thompson that we might not have known about?
Well, David Thompson, Skywalker, as his nickname was phenomenal. I had been watching David Thompson when he was in the ABA, when they played with the red, white, and blue basketball. And he was very phenomenal watching him play against Dr. J and all those other teams that was in the NBA when they all came. In the ABA when they all came into the NBA. So I've always been a great fan of him, even when he played at NC State before he went into the ABA. And he played real good in the NBA as well. His career could have, been a little bit better, but, that's how life is. It has its ups and downs. But in the end, I think he is a good person, a good player, and I think he has earned his, his due to be recognized this coming game on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's very well deserved.
Yeah. And so I believe his high was 73 points in a game, which is pretty amazing because I don't believe there was a 3-point line when he scored his 73.
It probably wasn't. Was that when he was in the NBA?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if it was NBA or ABA.
Okay. Yeah. I can't remember. I know he had a 73-point game, but it may have been in the NBA. And one thing that I don't remember is when the ABA first joined the NBA with the 3 or 4 teams that came. I know the Nets came, the Pacers came, the Nuggets came. Those were 3 of the teams that I remember that joined when they formed. I'm not sure when the 3-point line came in the NBA. It may have came when they joined. It may have been part of the agreement that we bringing this in and bringing some excitement to the game, or it may have been a year or 2 after the merger of the ABA and the NBA.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll definitely check that. Wow. And then so if the Nuggets are able to pull this off, then I guess they'll be the second team from the ABA to win. We all know about the Spurs and their 5 championships. So I guess the Nuggets would join that. What's your memories of the ABA with the red, white, blue ball and the running gun style? Kind of school us a little bit on the ABA.
Oh man, it was just very, very exciting. I mean, um, people just got excited just watching the basketball, man. You know, when you shoot it and the ball is spinning, the rotation on it, and making it 3 points, it's just a beautiful game. They really played razzle dazzle. I mean, they ran up and down the court. Everybody they played in the ABA were very athletic. Okay, they all could jump. They all dunked. I mean, it was very exciting watching the game. It was just unfortunately that we didn't get a chance to see too many of those games. You know, they didn't get the media coverage and all that. So it was like every now and then that you would get to see a game like that. But whenever they came on, I mean, everybody was excited to see them play. So they really, when they joined, they really changed the NBA game. I mean, all those players they brought in took the NBA, and the rest of the type of players that they recruited was based on the skill set that those players in the ABA were playing. So they really changed the game in the in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting because I think of, we think of the game today for the most part being fast paced, and how, the Phoenix Suns had their running gun, and the Golden State Warriors, running up and down the court, and 3-point shot, and just high energy and whatnot. And a lot of people think that it's revolutionary to now, and that they never played that pace, because people think about the 80s and the 90s and the 70 and 80 point ball games and whatnot, but they don't realize that back in the 70s, they were running and gunning and scoring 150 points a game like they are now.
That's where it was in the ABA. If I remember right, I mean, when they played basketball games in the NBA, what you score a game 95 to 105, something like that. But NBA, man, ABA, it was like 125, 133. They averaged probably about 115 points a game. 115 was like 95, 98 in the NBA. It was completely very exciting game.
Yeah. And this was not part of what we're going to talk about, but you guys are making me think of it, and then we'll come back to Game 5 of the NBA Finals. But Pistol Pete. So, because I'm thinking about running and gunning and razzle dazzle and all that. And for Diego, he's 13 and working on his game and trying to get better. So I introduced him to Pistol Pete's old instructional videos. And actually, my middle school coach, that's what he used to show us. We watched Pistol Pete instructional videos on how to shoot and dribble and all type of stuff. So pass that on to Diego. So he's becoming familiar. He's seen some clips of Pistol Pete and whatnot. But tell Diego about how bad Pistol Pete was back in the day.
Back in time. Let me tell you something. You want to talk about Pistol Pete? I watched Pistol Pete when I was in high school. When I played basketball, he was in college, and what Pistol Pete was doing when we was playing in the park and we was in basketball practice, everybody on the team, we was Pistol Pete. Everything what Pistol Pete was doing, we were trying to do. That's how revolutionary Pistol Pete was back in around 1970 when I was probably playing Frost-Off junior varsity basketball, man. He was phenomenal. Go through his legs and behind the back passes and spin the ball. He was just great, man. It was everybody back then, no matter race, creed, and color, you wanted to be Pistol Pete. That's how good he was.
Yeah. It just seemed amazing.
You get one of those videos myself, didn't I?
Yeah.
At least I can watch.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. Look up Pistol Pete. Anybody looking that's trying to improve their game, look up Pistol Pete and his instructional videos. And he takes you through the fundamentals on how to build up, and then how to eventually, become fancy. But as fancy as he was so fundamentally sound. And you can only be fancy if you're fundamentally sound, clearly. So Yeah, he was just amazing. So
Yeah.
I would love to see more of an in-depth documentary on him and just see more of his highlights. One of the things that stood out, Diego actually caught this. It's pretty comical because this certainly would not happen in today's era. But you noticed that. Well, Diego, actually say what you noticed about Pistol Pete during most of his career.
I noticed that on his jersey, it just had the word pistol on the back of his jersey for the most of his career. It didn't have his name. So I thought that was interesting. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, that was clearly his nickname. That certainly wouldn't fly today because of just nickname. You wouldn't have a nickname on your jersey. I mean, they did that in the XFL. But, and then I think that you said there was a commercial.
They had a commercial with Pistol Pete, and he had like a toy gun, and when he shot it, a flag came out of the gun, and he said Pistol Pete, and he got the name Pistol because he was a great shooter, and I think his name is Pete, so his nickname was Pistol Pete because he was like that. Yeah,
got you. Big shout out to Pistol Pete. We definitely,
we definitely miss him. He was a phenomenal player. Everybody, all race, creed, and colors. Everybody wanted to be the Pistol. Like I said, back when I was in high school myself, Pistol Pete was older than me. He was in college, and all of my basketball team and all of us, we tried to emulate what Pistol Pete brought to basketball.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get out of here on Game 5. Our next game isn't until Monday, so we don't have any NBA this weekend. Sad about that, but we've got to wait till Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Diego, who wins Game 5? Are the Nuggets closing this thing out, or are we going back to the 305 in Miami?
Well, as I said at the beginning, before the finals, I said Nuggets were going to gentleman sweep the Miami Heat, and I'm going to stick by that. So Nuggets are going to win, and they'll be the new NBA champions.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you did call it from the very beginning that it would be a gentleman's sweep in 5. So you did call that. You did call last year that the Golden State Warriors would win in 6.
Yep.
So on a roll. So if that happens, then you would have hit 2 years in a row. So we'll see what happens there. All right, Dad. What happens on Monday night in Denver?
Well, I had always said that Denver would win in 6 games, and I was looking at the way the Butler was walking in that locker room after the game. I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game. Okay. I think Miami is going to try to bring, they're going to play by the bootstrap. They're going to bring all their energy and everything to try to go back to Miami. But, I think Denver may get this one here, but I think it'll be a good game. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami win, but if I'm put the money on it right now, I think I have to say, the Nuggets by 3.
Okay. Oh, by 3. Oh, we got a line.
Nice.
Have a good game.
Yeah. I mean,
20.
Yeah.
I mean, closeout. We all know closeout games are very difficult, regardless of where it is. Growing up, we saw Chicago Bulls lose several closeout games in the finals at home. We've got in 93, they had Game 5 at home and lost it and had to go to Game 6 and had to travel to Phoenix and get that. In 98, they lost Game 5 at home and had to go to Utah and win in Game 6. So it's definitely not a guarantee. We know the crowd's going to be fired up. We know everybody's going to say Denver's going to close it out. They probably will, and that would be my prediction. But we know Miami's going to give everything and give it one last shot. So it should definitely be a good game. So really excited about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, this has been an awesome episode. Appreciate you coming on and letting us mess with you about the Butler. We're gonna continue. We're gonna continue to eat our snacks and see if we can finally get served on Monday.
Well, Butler just texted me and he said, "Don't worry about it. The Meals on Wheels are coming. It will be delivered."
Okay. All right. We'll be looking. We'll be looking for it. All right. All right. Until then, the Thompsons are out. We'll see you next time. Pick 'em Pros.
Ooh.